Alright guys, today we're going to be talking about the Lancer that was often mistaken for Cuchulainn, rookies, Diarmuid. His story kicks off in the Fenian cycle of Irish mythology. He was a demigod, his father being Donn, a god of the dead, and his mother being from an ancient Irish tribe known as the Tuatha. Going back to Ireland, Diarmuid was raised by his foster father, Angus, alongside his half-brother. While they were still in their younger years, his brother was frightened by an animal, and with nothing else to do, he ran in between the legs of Diarmuid's real father, Donn. For reasons that are completely beyond me, Diarmuid's father was jealous that his son wasn't getting all the attention. So when his brother ran in between his legs, he squeezed the life out of the boy until he was no more. When their foster father, Angus, and his brother's real father came around and found out what happened to his son, he was shook. He went into a rage and casted a spell to bring his son back to life in the body of a wild boar. He then put a spell on his son that said to kill Diarmuid so his father could feel the same way that he did. The tricky part about this is that his foster father knew that Diarmuid had a vow that wouldn't allow him to pierce the skin of a pig. So even if he found out about the boar, he couldn't do anything to stop it. Coming up, Diarmuid was part of a strong band of warriors called the Fianna, led by one of the most adored servants in the franchise, Fianna. Can't believe I said that with a straight face. Anyway, Diarmuid was one of Fianna's best men and a right-hand man who had previously taken on 3,400 enemies on his own and saved the Fianna. Safe to say that this man is not to be slept on as a warrior. On top of Diarmuid's excellence in combat, he was also excellent with the hoes. But it's not for the reason that you're thinking. When Diarmuid was out on one of his hunts, he met a young girl. They fornicated, and after they were finished, she placed a love spot under his eye, which meant that any woman that caught sight of this would fall in love with him. As his leader Fianna began to climb up in age, he finally decided that it was time for him to settle down again and find a wife before he kicked the bucket. He calls up his band members for advice. Ultimately, everybody agreed that he should marry the daughter of the High King, Grania, the thickest woman in all of Ireland. Now, Fianna was well aware that he was way too old to marry this girl. This man is downright decaying at this point. He's bad built, nasty looking. He couldn't just pull up on Grania looking like this. He was too embarrassed. So he sends out two of his messengers to do the job. What he didn't know is that when Grania was young, she came across a boy with the mark under his eye. And ever since, every dude that's tried to get with her got 2 thumbs down. She never found out who the boy was, and since she had waited for him all this time to come, she decided that she might as well let it go and give good old Fianna a chance. They have a big feast to celebrate. I'm talking corn on the cob, baked beans, rotisserie chicken, bull pig feet sitting in the middle of the table. Boy, they was throwing down. So everybody's having a good time, and Grania is hiding behind a curtain trying to catch a glimpse of the man that she's about to marry. She gets a good look at Fianna, and she's like, damn, this dude ugly as fuck. Man built like a half-eaten McGriddle. It was at this moment that Grania realized she had made a mistake. And then she noticed something else. After Fianna had moved out the way, she caught sight of the man that was sitting across from him. It was indeed the same boy that she had met when she was younger, Diarmuid. She definitely wasn't gonna marry Fianna now, so she comes out, she sits down at the table, puts a drug in the wine that knocks most of the members of the Fianna into slumber. She then asks some of the members, are they willing to run away with her? Everybody's like, no can do, little lady. Our loyalty is with the boss. Then she asked Diarmuid. Of course, he said the same thing. So when she asked him, she also put a curse on this man. So he didn't have a choice whether or not he could run away. He didn't want to do it, but what else could he do? So he asked his brethren, did he have any other options? And they told him, nah, not really. She got you, bro. Sucks to be you. Reluctantly, he makes off with Grania. Now, Grania isn't used to all of this traveling, so after a short amount of time of them running off with each other, she's already complaining and making demands. Diarmuid, my feet are getting weary. Would you be a darling and carry me the rest of the way? Bitch, I ain't carrying you nowhere. I'm still trying to figure out why I'm out here. Hey, here's an idea. If you can't walk by yourself, you shouldn't have gotten us into this in the first place. So she tells him, fine, and curses him again, making him find horses for them both instead. They meet up with Diarmuid's foster father, Angus, who was also a god of love. They tell him what's going down, and he tries to give them a little bit of advice. Okay, so I'm just gonna go over a couple of things that you won't be able to do, or the Fianna will catch up to you. You can't sleep in the cave. You can't sleep in the house. Trees are out of the question. You can't eat where you cook, and you can't sleep where you ate. As a matter of fact, just don't stop running. Oh, and Diarmuid, one more thing. She got you good, bro. So the next day, Fianna wakes up from Grania's sleeping potion, and he's in shambles. But he wasn't mad at Grania. He was mad at Diarmuid for betraying him, not knowing the full extent of what actually happened. Regardless, Diarmuid was chased down by Fianna from that point on. Now, he was trying to keep his respect for Fianna by not touching the girl the entire time. That is, of course, until Grania tried to pull his card. One day, the two of them were out crossing some water, and she basically told Diarmuid, huh, funny how the river can get me wet, but you can't, Diarmuid. And Diarmuid was like, oh, really? And he had the young girl pipe down before sunset, which means that Diarmuid was also no longer completely innocent. Finally, the two of them broke down and slept in the house for the night. That same night, the Fianna had the house surrounded, just as Angus had claimed. Luckily, Angus has the hacks, so he pops up out of nowhere and he teleports Grania to safety. But Diarmuid requested that he be left behind. Fianna tells Diarmuid from the outside, if you come out of this door, you are going to die. Diarmuid comes out, leaps above all of the members of the Fianna, and dashes back to Grania, still maintaining their safety. Months pass, Grania is now pregnant, and they are still on the run. The two are now inhabiting the land of a giant that said, what's mine is yours, as long as you don't touch my berries. But since Grania is pregnant, her big hungry ass is eating for two people. So Diarmuid kills the giant and took the berries. Long story short, the fact that the berries were gone exposed their location, and they had to dip out of the giant's territory. They continued to run for years, raising 4 sons and a daughter, and still never stopped. How? With the whole family tired of running, they decided to make peace with Fianna, and he welcomes them back with open arms. They have another huge feast to celebrate. One day, Fianna asked Diarmuid to go out on a hunt with him, and while they were out, they crossed paths with the wild boar of Bolbin. But this wasn't just any boar, it was Diarmuid's half-brother reincarnated from before. And with the curse still on Diarmuid, the boar goes straight for him to attack. The two of them shared mutual blows, Diarmuid killing him with the blow to his head, and he himself suffering a fatal wound to the body. It's also important to mention that Fianna did remind Diarmuid about his curse not to pierce the boar directly, which made him throw out a blow with his hilt instead. So in that moment, you can say that Fianna saved his life. Now, for those of you who haven't seen my Fianna lore, Fianna has a magical thumb. And one of the cool things about this thumb is that if Diarmuid was able to drink water that's contacted by the thumb, his life would be saved. Fianna goes out to grab a drink of water between his hands, and just as he was about to give it to Diarmuid, he lets the water fall between the cracks of his fingers. Told you I was gonna get you back one day, you funky bitch! The savagery. And Diarmuid dies right then and there. When Fianna finally got out of his feelings, he continued to make an attempt to give Diarmuid water the right way, but it was already too late. The damage was done, and his old companion was no longer. Let me know what you guys think. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Follow me on Twitter for updates on the channel, and I will be back with more Tight Moon content. It is your boy Saya. I'm out.